Nikki, one of the big problems in developed markets, and particularly in Europe, is obviously unemployment. It's rising and it's becoming quite a political issue. So, there are lots of companies out there that provide temporary workers, that provide workforces to lots of industries and services. The biggest of them all, the one that everybody watches is Adecco. We've had results from it this morning. How is it doing in these very tough operating and conditions?
Well, I suppose in fairness one should say not too badly. Its third quarter revenues, once you strip out the currency effect, it's based in Switzerland, were down 5%. Its gross profits down 1%, and that looks pretty presentable, and indeed the shares sort of breathed a sigh of relief and improved on it. Underlying it, it's just an incredibly mixed bag. As you rightly say, unemployment in the Eurozone is now at record levels. Yes. But equally in the US, it's improving somewhat. In the UK, it's, as we all know, not too bad.
Yeah, I guess the question for Adecco is it global enough to sort of, and diversified enough to be able to carry one downturn with market gains elsewhere and doing better elsewhere?
Well, it does have very heavy exposure to France. That's almost a quarter of its revenues. That's not good at all.
Yeah, no, that's bad news.
And we see France cutting back on jobs big time at the moment. Of course, recession and unemployment is not totally bad news for these types of companies, because some employers want a flexible workforce. Yeah. Adecco is perhaps rather tilted towards the office and industrial side of things rather than the professional staffing, and that is not so attractive. There are other companies, competitors, who have more exposure at the professional staffing level, and on the whole that's rather more stable.
Right, but I just wonder whether things are going to improve. We're not looking at any improvement in unemployment rates, certainly, I think, over the next 12 months or so. I think companies have to be really flexible in the way that they respond to these kinds of things, and
Well, Adecco is very careful with its own costs.
Yeah.
It's pushed SG&A down 2%, which is pretty good. So it's kept its own margins really fairly solid. But I think you're quite right that it's going to be a tough months ahead, because the Eurozone is certainly not going to get any better quickly.
No, absolutely. I think that there are lots of economic problems that are out there that are creating the sort of tough operating conditions that companies like Adecco are really going to have to navigate very, very carefully over the next 12 months or so. Thanks, Nikki.